your right elbow. So we're going to take this. So it's your right elbow, wrist, and hand. Just going to drape it right here. All right. So we're going to just do elbow flexion and elbow extension. Yep. Flexion. How's that feeling?
It's okay.
Extension.
It's a little stiff.
Okay. Any discomfort?
No.
No?
It's just stiff.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to work on your wrist. So we're going to do some wrist flexion and wrist extension, wrist flexion and wrist extension. And we're going to do some radial deviation and ulnar deviation, radial deviation, ulnar deviation. Excellent. All right, so we're just work on those thumbs, your fingers and your thumb, so you can hold on to the assisted device and do your activities better. So finger flexion and extension, finger flexion and extension. You're helping me out, make my job that much easier.
Sorry.
Nice. All right, so abduction and adduction of the fingers, abduction and abduction and add. Got those three done. And then lastly, the thumb. So we got thumb flexion and thumb extension, thumb flexion, thumb extension, thumb flexion, and thumb extension, and then thumb abduction, adduction, abduction, adduction, abduction, and adduction. All right, how's that feeling? Pretty good. Excellent. All right, support your arm, and we're just going to kind of sneak it underneath the sheet here. Gotta be careful. I feel like there's like prying eyes, you know, watching. Yeah, don't want that to happen. All right, and then is there a position of comfort you want to be left in? We're done with therapy, so I'm gonna let the supervising PT know how you did with everything. Okay, we'll let the doctor know if there's anything special that needs to be conveyed to them, and I'll let the nurse know that you're done with therapy. So if you're due any medications, they can bring those into you. Okay. So I'll make sure your call light and your tray table and everything is close to you. But is there a position that you want to be in for comfort now that we're done with therapy?
Tell me I should lay on my stomach.
On your stomach? Okay. Do you want to lay on your stomach?
Yeah, I
okay.
guess
So we'll just work on, I'll tent the sheet, and you're going to roll away from me onto this side and then continue on until you are on your stomach. Okay, so give me 2 seconds. All right, so go ahead and start moving towards that direction, please.
Sorry, I'm really slow at this.
That's okay. At a glacial pace. Oops, Mama. It's not that kind of a clinic. That's called a parlor. All right. How are you feeling?
I'm really comfy.
Yeah?
Not really.
Not really?
This is what they tell me to do.
This is what they tell you to do? I know. We gotta make people happy. Do you need a pillow underneath your stomach?
No, I think I'll be okay.
Okay,
I
what
don't
about-
plan on staying here very long.
What about under your shins? Do you need anything pillow there?
No, they'll be okay.
Okay. Those are things that I have to make sure I ask.
Yeah.
All right? I'm trying to set a good standard. So,
Good job.
all right. I will see you the next time that you're here, or the next time I'm here.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Can you leave her that high up?
Huh?
You leave her that high up?
I mean,
Doesn't matter.
I guess you could go ahead and drop it down.
Do you want us to take off the shoes?
Yes, the shoes would come off. Some things I saved time on.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. There's 12 minutes. So I didn't have her walk a full distance. I didn't actually put the blood pressure cuff on there and obliterate it like y'all are doing with the check off. So there's some things that I abbreviated just so y'all could see what it should look like, okay? And so this is what it needs to look like when y'all are together and you're practicing for the rest of today, or if you come in early on Monday or Tuesday of the next week. This is the setup that you want to have and you want to go through. If you piecemeal it, all right, and that's why, I'm not trying to pick on YouTube, that's why I'm trying to get y'all on there. You're not going to, when you get under the stress of the treatment, if you don't do it under the same situation, then it's not going to make sense to you when it's time for your lab practical, okay? So that's why we always try to have y'all practice in the same way the lab practical will be conducted, okay? Okay. Any questions?
It makes sense that to go ahead and fit her and everything. I don't know why I
have got to remember,
Do that.
on the card, it tells you the
Yeah, sure.
specific order
Oh.
that you're doing it.
Okay, that.
That's why it's in that order, and that's why I wrote it on the board that way yesterday,
Okay.
and that's why I did it this way. If we had y'all do it that way, it's a lot of wasted time. This matters in the fluidity of the treatment. They're in the wheelchair, you do all the dynamic things, you do a transfer, and then you do the mat exercises, and then that's where they're left.
So it is okay for us, and I know you, to carry that paper with us and to keep looking at it? Cause I
Yeah.
know during the stress of it, it's like, okay,
Yes,
now what am
but
I
you saw how
doing?
quickly I grabbed it, looked at it, and found it where I needed, and put the card right back down. Well, I already did vitals, already did gait, already did transfer. There's no reason for me to go relook at all that stuff. I knew that it was time for passive range of motion and draping. So it was time for me to find out, remind me what position they needed to be in and what extremity that I was going to be doing that. And if you grab the card and you were like, right arm, okay. So if you need to do that because now they're in supine or now they're in sideline, then do that, put the card down and go for it.
But if you
Okay.
stand there and read your card for 5 minutes in the middle of your treatment, then I'm gonna take off for you.
Yeah,
Because you should have gotten your overview. And the other thing you can do is you're gonna have a blank piece of paper. So if when you start, you wanna write down vital signs, 4-point gait with crutches, and sideline position, and right arm, and blah, 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 then when you're going back to write your vital signs down, you're gonna see what's next, right? And so
Whatever.
you can go jot down pain level or whatever, then you're looking at that thing.
so whatever is your special handwriting, whatever your special notes are that makes sense to you when you look at it, then write it in that format, okay?
And does the time start when?
I started the time exactly when I grabbed the scenario. I handed it hers to her. I looked at it and I went over and told him that my instructor that I was ready, and he didn't know what to do, so that's why I hit start on the timer, okay? So I will start the timer for you, or Darlis will start the timer for you, and I will verbalize to you, Melissa, your time has started, okay? And if you're like, I'm like, Melissa, look at me, your time has started. Yeah, I need you to acknowledge that you know that your time has started, okay?
So about how much time do we get before the time starts after we get our card?
You don't.
You don't, that's what we just said.
Okay.
The time starts right then and there.
All right.
And then if you want me to give you a 5-minute warning,
Yes.
okay? 5 minutes, you have 5 minutes, meaning you know where you're at. Now then, if I tell you you're at 5 minutes and you just transferred them over, do not stress. Y'all a lot can get done in 5 minutes. So, because you're not doing the whole body, you're just doing an extremity. So if you hear me say 5 minutes, don't go, just go, okay. And just like, and just like if you're like going, if you're just kind of moving a little bit like this and everything, the whole treatment, then you might want to light the charge and go, all right, we're gonna get this stuff done. And, move a little bit quicker about it. So it's all about pacing, it's all about being efficient. And again, that's why I want y'all to be practicing the way it's gonna be set up so it makes sense to you. All right?
Did you get that on camera?
Which part?
We have to edit that, bleep that last.
Oh, the part that he just sat on there too.
Passive range of motion, y'all want 3 passes?
Yes.
Per.
It'll say on your grade sheet, I think, 3 to 5.
Just do 3.
Just 3.
Do 3.
Do them.
Okay? Yes.
Is there a reason why you didn't do opposition and supination and pronation, or just saving time? You just.
Oh,
Did it while he did the.
that's a good point. Yeah, I did forget to do opposition of the
You
fellow
did.
thing.
I
I did.
You had it
Oh,
like
passive
that.
range. Oh, the pronation and supination.
Yeah, because I noticed you had it like.
Because it didn't say forearm on there.
Okay.
Okay, and I think
Just
it'll be
elbow.
it'll be
Yeah.
specific. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna tell you if it
See,
says
I did that
They
too.
attach at the elbow.
I know,
But the
this here's
pronation and supination is
exactly
the form,
it's a
not
separate
the elbow.
movement. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you get it and your scenario says to do elbow range of motion, then I'm okay if you do a functional this movement, but only call out the elbow. Okay, because this is a functional movement.
Because they do
This-
attach at the humerus, right?
I know where they attach.
That's what
I'm
I'm
telling
saying,
you.
like,
What I'm
they
trying to
should
tell you
be
is there's a thing called a
separate,
plan of
yeah.
care.
Uh-huh.
So there could be a reason why the
Could be a
doctor
reason why they
doesn't
weren't
want
doing
you to
supination
do
or
pronation and supination. okay? So you have to honor that even though you know there's muscle
You're saying we can do it,
attachments.
just don't call it out as
Right.
that, yeah.
So I'm telling you that you can, if you just did straight up elbow flexion and extension like this, then you'd be fine. If you did elbow flexion and extension and you did the pronation and supination functional rotational movements, you would be fine with that. But do not call it out unless it's on the card.
Do any of
So
them
I did.
say forearm?
They might,
So this is the only movement for forearm, right?
correct.
Okay.
And if it said elbow, forearm, and wrist, then you can be efficient.
So that's what we had,
Elbow
yeah.
flexion, forearm supination, elbow extension, forearm pronation.
Do you have to do every single one of the range of motions that was taught for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
forgot opposition.
So he would've gotten points.
I would've
if-
lost
Okay,
points for not
wait,
doing
but
that.
the whole thing isn't trashed, right?
No,
It's like
not at
2
all.
points or
Yeah.
3
No.
points or-
If you do something that you were instructed not to do. then
Because you know
yes.
the muscles are attached there, okay?
I'm just
Do
saying
not,
that makes
I know,
sense why it would be
just
elbow.
don't do more than
Then
what
what do
is asked of. I lose my license, I get in trouble if I do more than what I'm been instructed by my supervising PT. Because there's a reason, and you would know what the reason is of why not to do the forearm movements. But you've got to do only what it says to do. This is why we stress throughout this semester about following what we ask y'all to do. Because it's in some ways teaching y'all that you have to follow as a PTA specific instructions by the doctor, by the nurse, by the supervising PT. You can't sit there and go, they don't know what they're talking about, I'm gonna do it this way. You'll get in trouble, you will lose your license, okay? So don't be like when y'all are, when it says list 4 things, and y'all list 6 and describe, and you try to give me more information than I'm asking on your lecture exams, I don't want more. Darlis doesn't want more for your lab. We want exactly what we're asking, the plan of care is asking you to do. Okay? Because if you look at,
So, but one of it
If you-
says like,
if you look at right here, under, additional competencies on the grading rubric, stays within plan of care, 4 points, asterisk. Asterisk, essential criteria. If student scores a 0 on any of these criteria, student must retake exam regardless of total score. Do you know what that means? You failed and you have to retake it, and you won't get nothing, you won't get anything higher than like a 72.5. Because if you have to retake it, now it's just a pass or fail. It's just to show that you are competent with the skills, and you're automatically getting a 72.5 on your lab practical. So
But that
do
doesn't
not
happen very
give us
often.
more than what we're asking. Do exactly what it's asking you to do. Okay? All right. So to that end, I'm going to tell you what your pairs are.